Let's get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it's that time again. Time for yet another brilliant lecture in Native American literature here at Sisseton, Wahpeton College in beautiful, bustling, crowded, overheated downtown Agency Village, South Dakota. And without any further ado, here comes the man himself, the brilliant Professor Victor Sinigo! Yay! Woo, 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 woo. All right, let's get started. Well, this is meeting 7 for Thursday, February 5th, 2025. And we have some announcements. But first, let's take roll. I'm going to use my old man glasses, even though those sunglasses are actually bifocal, but this is more appropriate for an academic setting, is it not? All right, let's get started. I hope this microphone is picking me up okay. Well, we have Blue Horse, Yotawing, 蓝右军 Changku Jairus, 道建荣 Flute Alexander, 肖胜德 Goodsell Sherelle, 郭学伟 Guevara Alexandria, 阙爱华 Hogue Lenora, 郝信林 Kirky Josiah, 柯志雄 LaFazio Jeremiah, 郎解任 LaFramboise Lacey, 乐小玲 Red Day, Sunny, 洪秀玲 Renville Gracelyn, 任慧玲 and Renville Victoria, 任文静. There we go. I believe that's everyone. Now let my recitations of each and every one of your names be a prayer for your health, happiness, and goodwill. So every time I say your names both in English and in Chinese, we say a quick prayer to the Creator for your benefit. What else do I have on? Oh, check this out. I just printed this, pulled it off the printer. I was chatting with one of those AI programs, and I described what I wanted, and it drew this. Isn't that cool? I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm teaching at Sisseton Wahpeton College. I need a Dakota male with sunglasses, looking very proud of the fact that he has earned his CDL with Professor Victor Singing Eagle. And I said, make it as realistic as possible. Says here, why cough up $5,000 to $10,000 for CDL training when you can get it right here on the res at a fraction of the cost? I think it's something like $1,000 here, something like that, a little less. That's kind of cool. So yes, we offered training in the big rig and in school bus. And I was so surprised because these guys look like people I know. And I asked, I don't remember if it was Chat GPT or Copilot or whoever I was chatting with. I said, how did you know how to draw these characters to look like people that I know? And the computer, whatever the chat bot, the AI said, well, you said you're on the Dakota Res, and I just kind of went through my database of people who are living on the Dakota Res, and that's what I came up with. That's kind of cool. All right. Now, announcements. I'm messing around too much. Email announcements coming up. Tatiana, or what's her nickname? Tia. and I cannot pronounce, I think she's got a Greek last name, but she's in student services, if I remember right. She is, and also the folks up in front, Samantha and Lejeune, they are looking for candy donations for St. Valentine's Day. That's primarily for us professors who are supposedly loaded, but we're not. But yeah, if anyone wants to donate candy, not only for the students here, could be even be smaller schools. You know, the Xiaoxue. I don't remember how to say that in English. Elementary. That's it. High school. Gaozhong. Um, Candy donations. Just cough them up. Give them to Tia or to Samantha or Lejeune. What else? Don't forget, there is a Super Bowl party at noon, I believe, on tomorrow. Could be wrong. It's over at the Student Union, that wonderful building with the cool computer games and a TV screen. And they're playing all kinds of interesting music in there. Students hang out. Let's see. It says here I'm going to be on e-learning, collapsing past discussions. I'll show you what that's about in a second. Nope, I'm going to show you right now. You ready? Here we go. So, if we look on e-learning, let's make this bigger. Now we're going to scroll this down. See how I have all these wonderful illustrations that I've gathered, some which I've created. And this is the announcements. I'm going to go over here. This is what I mean by collapsing them. I might have shown you this before, but it does bear repeating. Because it's a whole lot of bandwidth and it's taking up a lot of space. I'm going to leave this one up. It'll still be there. See this one where it says Detu Kahniga. I cannot pronounce that right. Kahniga. I'm going to go to edit settings, and I'm going to click on this because everybody's voted, and it seems like everyone's unanimously voted for traditional online midterm and final exams. That's cool. So we're going to leave that, but we're going to collapse it. Save. Now, instead of seeing that huge old illustration, what you're going to see is just the title where it says, there it is. Ta-da! So that's what I did. I collapsed it. Because if I leave it up, it just takes up a whole bunch of space. And if you're scrolling through it, it's going to take forever to load. I'm going to leave this up until probably next week. This one, leave that up. There's some other stuff that I do need to collapse. I'm going to collapse this one because that's kind of like just an extra information for you guys. Let's go to edit settings. Boom. And click on this. And now you're only going to see the title. But you can still click on it, on that title, and it'll open up. Just what we saw. Boom! Gentlemen, open your text, page 21 of the introduction. I don't want to do that. Let's go back. I hate it when it does that. Stop! Go back, please. There we go. Dead Poet Society. I didn't want it to open up in the window. I might have to adjust that. What else? I'm going to collapse. Not that one. There's another one I want to collapse. Call for submissions because we just hit the deadline. Let's collapse it. Edit settings. I'm wasting a whole lot of time here. I got to hurry up and not bore you to death. But I'm just, again, demonstrating how you can still find the stuff, but you just got to click on the title. Okay? All right. Now, what I really need to harass you with today is our first pop quiz. Ooh, there's the RTG again. I should collapse that later, not right now. All this stuff's going to get collapsed up there, but not yet. Not until after the first pop quiz. 5. Let's keep scrolling. And I'm going to collapse that because it's a whole lot of artistry that needs to just be squished down. There's meeting 6. We need a what was I saying? The pop quiz, which is after the stop sign. Where is pop quiz? It's going to be invisible to you. This one. You're going to see a Zootopia. There's Chief Bogo and all the wonderful animals from Zootopia in their first meeting. And Officer Judy Hopps right there. It says, all right, everybody sit. First, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. It says invisible to students. I'm going to make that visible in a minute. But first things first, I'm going to walk you through the quiz. You ready? I'm going to click on... Let's just go to edit quiz because that's the easiest way. Edit quiz preview. Oh, there we go. Hopefully it doesn't give away all the right answers. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's go back to edit quiz. But anyway, this is what you're going to see when you take the quiz. You know what? Since it's open, I'm going to harass you with the essay questions. First question says, riddle me this. These are the long ones. These are 15 points, so do not give lazy answers. This is Caleb Chishatamuk, if I remember right. Chishatamuk. William Apis. It says here, riddle me this. Our textbook author, Daniel Heath Justice, doesn't seem to care for the writings of early native authors such as Caleb Chishatamuk, William Apis, and Zitkala Shah, or Zitkala Shah, I don't remember how to pronounce it. I think that means red bird or little bird. However, according to your professor and Gerald Visner, these authors wrote for a very specific purpose. Why did early native writers such as Caleb Chishatamuk, William Apis, and Zitkala Shah use such humble, ingratiating voices? Which arguments do you prefer? Those of Justice or Singing Eagle and Visner? Do not give a lazy answer to this question because it's worth 15 points. Now, what this means, this is a multiple part question, so you got to answer all of those questions all and write it here. Probably about 250 words. Paragraph, probably 2 paragraphs will work even better because this is how you get your A. Because if you just answer all those multiple true and false multiple guess questions, you're going to get a nice little C. But if you want to get up to higher levels, this is your chance to shine. Now, let's go to the next question about the real people. Riddle me that. What do Professor Daniel Heath Justice and Professor Singing Eagle say about our native tendency to refer to ourselves as real people? How does this refute accusations of ethnocentrism levied upon us by non-native ethnographers? Are you satisfied with your professor's explanation and even the stories that he told about real people, this phenomenon? Why or why not? If you remember, I actually told a story. Again, do not give a lazy answer to this question. We want a couple of paragraphs. The last one. This one is worth 20 points, so it's even going to be longer. Again, you have heard your professor go on and on about issues of authenticity and what may or may not make Native American literature truly Native literature. For example, he argues that in the novel Coyote Blue, this one here, non-native author Christopher Moore, you can actually right-click on this and open a new tab and you can see who he is. Ta-da! You can't make this stuff up, but Christopher Moore can. He makes up some pretty good stories, but he's not native. However, he tells really accurate stories about Crow Indians and even employs Spot on Indian humor. However, your professor, that's me, Singing Eagle, has left this issue open. I did not tell you what to think. That's up to you, my beloved students, to decide for yourselves. All you got to do is make your point and explain why you believe what you believe, giving some examples. So it says here, Singing Eagle didn't tell you what to say or what to think, left you to decide in your opinion. Your opinion. What constitutes true native literature? What if a Muskogee, that's Creek, or Lakota writes a non-fiction textbook about math or biology? Does it still count? Please note that this is a multi-part question and do not give a lazy answer. 20 points. Got it? All right. You might not be able to see that. Let me see if I turn this down, turn the light down. You might be able to see it. That doesn't do much better. But yeah, have a look at these questions. Those are the biggies. And then I'm going to take you to edit quiz because I want to show you the true and false and multiple choice questions. Where does it say edit quiz? No, let's go back to the quiz. Boom. Back to the quiz. There we go. I'm going to scroll down here where it says edit quiz, and it's going to take me to preview the question. There, that's what I want. This is multiple guess. Why do many native artists disagree that literature is only written? A, all of these. That's all of those there. I didn't put all of the above because the computer sometimes will scramble these. Because the definition is too limited in its scope, because it's too Eurocentric, because it excludes the oral tradition. Remember, native artists disagree with that argument. That literature is only written. I saw a lot of you guys on the forums give me those answers where it asks, what's your opinion? What is literature? A lot of you guys just gave me chat GPT answers. Well, literature is written works that stand the test of time and blah, blah, blah. It sounded like something right out of chat GPT, but I said a lot of native. Oops, that's not what I want. Clear my choice because I don't want to tell you what to think. You guys got to tell me what is the right answer. And this is a regurgitation question. So we're going to get out of that. We're going to do the next question. What happened to our books? Oops, I almost clicked the garbage can. What happened to the many native books that were kept in Mesoamerican libraries? I believe I told you a story about the folks down in Mesoamerica and even in the various North American areas where they built these huge temples and pyramids and they had libraries. And then I said the newcomers came along, primarily the Spaniards, with their Christianity. They said, oh, this is the works of the devil. And what did they do? A, the evil god meteor destroyed them. B, aliens took them. C, Spanish missionaries burned nearly all of them, or they were lost in a flood. Boom. Let's do the next one. I'm going too slow. This is about returning the gift. No, Mexican flag. Why does the Mexican flag feature an eagle eating a snake while perched on a cactus? A, Our Lady of Guadalupe had something to do with it. Guadalupe, if I remember if that's the right pronunciation. A Spanish bishop directed it because of an Aztec prophecy, or Mexicans just like birds. Boom! Let's get rid of that. How about the next one? RTG. I'm going too slow. Returning the gift. According to professors like Gary Hobson, we can right click on it and see who he is. It's probably going to be a video. Oh, I don't want to see a commercial. Stop! But you can watch the video for yourself. Maybe you can block it. What did I do with my question? There it is. Gary Hobson, Cherokee, Quapaw, Chickasaw, and Joseph Bruchak Abnaki According to them, what happened for the first time in indigenous history back in 1992? And you can right click on that and pretty much get your answer. But let's go back to the questions, or the distractors, or the answers. So it's only 5 points. Again, the so-called Native American Renaissance began with author Sherman Alexie. B. Hundreds of First Nations writers gathered at the University of Oklahoma to share and celebrate their creative works. C. Idealized concepts of native clean living and closeness to nature became enshrined in popular culture. Or D. Europeans began stealing from Native American literature without giving credit to the original authors. Boom. Let's do the next one. We did that. RTG. Let's go to the types of savages. I spoke on this just recently, did I not? There are, by the way, a lot of times you can get the answer from the photographs or illustrations that I put up. Native critics often argue that European writers will depict our people as the howling savage, the vanishing savage, and the blank savage. We got an answer right there. Noble, dead, destroying, unknown, and mysterious. Just look at the picture. All right, people actually got that wrong last semester. That's why I'm fussing. Number 6, indigenous deficiency. Oh, this is from our textbook. I might even put a reference to the page numbers on there. True or false? Professor, this is a true-false question. So again, flip a coin if you don't know the answer. Daniel Heath Justice argues that the idea of indigenous deficiency is highly encouraging because it is meant to empower native peoples. That's like in the first couple of pages of our books, man. Nobody's going to get that one wrong. Next. Intergenerational trauma. This is from my buddy Du Huawei. I always call him by his Chinese. There it is, Harvey DeMars. True or false? Professor Harvey DeMars identifies intergenerational trauma as a genuine problem among Aboriginal peoples because this lasting psychological, physiological, and social effects. Boom. Next one, native humor. Come on, give me a picture. My picture's gone. I might have to redo that. There it is. Oh, these guys are awesome. Have you ever heard of the 1492s, by the way? I should post some of their videos for you guys. It's just hilarious. I think this is back during COVID. Look at the lady there. She's her traditional traditional wear, but she's in scrubs and a face mask, and there's a lady shopping. That's cool. All right, true or false? Author Tiffany Midge says that all natives are vanishing and our lives are always humorless, colorless, and tragic. In other words, we don't have sense of humor. We're just a bunch of sad people. True or false? Boom. I might have mentioned that in one of my lectures. If not, I'm going to go back and double check on e-learning to make sure I'm not steering you wrong. Next one, Zitkalasa. Rest in power. There is a YouTube video. You can click on it. True or false? So we can right click on this, open in a new tab, and you can watch it. I'm going too slow. Go back to the question. Dakota author Zitkalasa was not a real pioneer of pedagogical resistance because instead she believed in indoctrinating children with concepts of non-native cultural colonization and superiority. Remember what I told you about pedagogical resistance and Zitkalasa and others? The earlier writer, she looks like one of my ex-girls. Never mind. Stop it. Let's do the next one. Native humor, etiological stories. I might have told the story of why hummingbird has so many beautiful colors. If not, I will post it for you and you can look on I might have even put a link on there. Professor Singing Eagle explains that native etiological stories are meant to explain why things are the way they are, such as natural phenomenon, or cultural practices. Why does hummingbird have so many beautiful colors? Why did the creator give them all those colors? Let's do the next one. I'm going too slow. Humble and ingratiating. This is similar. No, that's the one we just did already. These are the essay questions. So all of these 1 through 10, those are true, false, multiple guess, all that. Looks like you won't get a C. You'll probably get a 50 points if you get them all right. And if you want more, you actually want a C, 70, whatever. You can just answer these short and just give me whatever a professor singing eagle dumped on you and just regurgitate it and you get a nice C. However, if you want a higher score, remember to add your own 2 cents worth. Give me your opinions, give me your arguments, and back them up with details and quotes or maybe even references. So, for example, if I could Control C, and I'm going to open up Google because I don't like Bing, and I'm going to go Control V and enter. And there's more than one way to spell them. You can go to Wikipedia. Oh, look at there's Harvard Magazine, and you can refer to this stuff that you read about him. That's all it takes. Just that wasn't even 5 minutes worth of Control X, Control V. And you can read some of his writings. I believe I have links to his writing on e-learning. Let's type in Control V, writings. Ooh, you can find some of his work. I bet you can find it on PDF, Control PDF. Ooh, there's a PDF. Let's see if it shows up. Whoa, okay, this is somebody who writes about it. I don't know what that is. Let's go back. I'm too slow. There it is. Look at that. Lecture materials about him. Some professors put their stuff out. Harvard Indians. Ooh, Nantucket historical. Let's see, he was 11 when he left his home in Cape Verde. Look at that. See? All you got to do is Control C, Control V, and that wasn't even 5 minutes worth. And then read a little bit and give me some of your arguments. Again, this one says, well, why do these guys use such humble, ingratiating language? Daniel Heath Justice, our textbook author, doesn't like it. Singing Eagle and Visitor, they say, well, there's a specific reason they did this. They're not just being brown-nosing. They have a reason. Do not give a lazy answer. All right, I'm talking too much. I bet I already spoke for 20 minutes, didn't I? Let me see. 28 freaking minutes. We got to knock it off there. Thank you so much for your humble indulgence and attention to this matter. And I will get back to e-learning and get some stuff done for you. All right? Thank you so much. Talk to you later. All right. Stop!